He survived enemy fire in 3 war zones. But on a quiet Sunday morning in Georgia, a grocery run nearly became his execution. Master Sergeant Darius Cole, 45, had seen the worst humanity could offer: ambushes in Afghanistan, jungle raids in Somalia, night missions where the stars felt like enemy surveillance. After 23 years of service, he'd earned something most Marines only dream of: peace. Let us know your reaction in the comments below and tell us what city or country you're watching from. If you believe that these stories must be told, subscribe to Golden Stories and ring the bell so you never miss a moment of justice. He lived quietly in Pine Ridge, Georgia, a town where church bells rang on Sundays and neighbors waved from porches. But Darius knew better. Conversation stopped when he entered the hardware store. Pine Ridge smiled with its mouth, but its eyes told a different story. Still, he kept his head down. He had one mission: taking care of his mother. 2 strokes had stolen her strength, and every Sunday morning he followed the same ritual: coffee at sunrise, a drive to Henderson's corner store, and lemon cookies. That Sunday felt like all the others. Darius wore jeans and a gray hoodie, moving with the slow confidence of a man who'd earned the right not to rush. He pushed through the glass door and grabbed a shopping basket. That's when he noticed the tension. 2 teenagers were arguing with the cashier. A soda had spilled. Darius stepped aside, minded his business, grabbed what he needed: milk, bread, oatmeal, and the lemon cookies. But the store manager, Rick Dulane, didn't see it that way. Rick stood behind the register, watching. Not the teenagers, watching Darius. His hand trembled as he reached for the phone beneath the counter. When he dialed 911, his lie came out smooth. "I need a unit at Henderson's corner store. Suspicious black male, mid-40s, possibly armed. Send someone now." He wasn't talking about the teenagers. He was talking about the decorated Marine veteran quietly shopping for his mother's cookies. Darius had no idea. He paid in cash, smiled politely, and stepped back into the sunlight with 2 paper bags. The morning still felt peaceful, and 60 feet away, a police cruiser with lights flashing was sliding into the parking lot. Officer Brady Kellerman stepped out, hand on his holster, eyes locked on target. The battle Darius never wanted was about to begin. But what happened next would be captured on 7 different cameras, and the footage would force America to ask a question it had been avoiding for centuries. The call came in at 9:47 a.m. Dispatcher Jenny Hollis had worked Sundays for 6 years, but something about Rick Dulane's voice made her spine tighten. "Black male, mid-40s, acting suspicious. I think he's armed." Rick was already painting a picture. "He's hovering near the register. Won't leave. The teenagers are scared." None of it was true, but the lie was already traveling faster than the truth. "Unit responding," Jenny said. 3 blocks away, Officer Brady Kellerman was finishing his 3rd coffee when the radio crackled. "All units, possible 211 in progress, Henderson's corner store, suspect described as black male, 40s, possibly armed." Brady's pulse spiked. A211. Robbery. Armed suspect. He flipped on the lights and sirens before his brain caught up. This was it. The moment he'd been trained for. Brady Kellerman, 37, 3rd-generation Pine Ridge native, had spent his entire career waiting to be the hero. But what he didn't know was that he'd also spent his entire life being taught who the villains were supposed to be. His grandfather had been a cop during integration, his father during the riots, and every story Brady grew up hearing ended the same way. "We protected this town from people who didn't belong." Black faces in those stories were never neighbors. They were always threats. And now, his radio was confirming everything he'd been taught to believe. Back inside Henderson's, Darius was already gone. Rick Dulane stood frozen. Phone pressed to his ear. "Can you still see the suspect, sir?" Rick looked around. Empty, except for the 2 kids. He just left, heading to the parking lot." "Did he take anything?" "I don't know. I don't think so." Jenny's voice sharpened. "Did he threaten anyone? Did you see a weapon?" The silence stretched. "No," Rick admitted quietly, "but he was, suspicious." And there it was, the word that carried the weight of decades. the word that turned a Marine buying groceries into a threat. Darius stepped into the parking lot, grocery bags balanced. He thought about his mother's smile when he brought her the cookies. He didn't think about dying, not until he heard the tires. The police cruiser came in fast. The engine growled. The brakes squealed. And Officer Brady Kellerman stepped out like a man preparing for war. "Hey, you!" Darius froze. Every instinct screamed at him to assess, adapt, survive. He turned slowly. Brady's hand was already on his gun. "Hands where I can see them, now!" Darius's heart didn't race. It couldn't afford to. Racing hearts made mistakes, and mistakes got black men killed. "My hands are full, officer. I'm just heading to my car." But Brady didn't hear calm. He heard defiance. He didn't see grocery bags. He saw concealed hands. He didn't see a Marine. He saw exactly what he'd been taught to see. And his hand moved from resting on the holster to gripping the gun. Somewhere in the distance, a mother grabbed her daughter's hand. Somewhere closer, a phone camera started recording, and Darius Cole, who had survived Kandahar, Mogadishu, and Helmand Province, realized he might not survive Pine Ridge, Georgia, because the most dangerous weapon in America isn't made of steel. It's made of assumptions. Brady Kellerman's father taught him 3 rules about policing. Rule 1, hesitation gets you killed. Rule 2, trust your gut, not their words. Rule 3, better judged by 12 than carried by 6. Standing in that parking lot, Brady believed he was following all 3. His gut screamed danger. His training screamed threat. What he didn't realize was that his gut had been trained to scream at the wrong things. "I said, hands where I can see them." Brady's voice cracked. Adrenaline flooded his system. Darius moved in slow motion. He bent at the knees, keeping his eyes on Brady, and gently placed both grocery bags on the pavement. Then he straightened, hands open, palms forward. "I'm a veteran, officer, United States Marine Corps. I'm not armed. I just bought groceries." But Brady's brain was already writing a different story. He's too calm. What's he hiding? "I didn't ask for your life story. I asked you to comply." "I am complying, sir." "Don't get smart with me." Darius said nothing. Sometimes silence was the only safe response. But Brady wasn't talking himself down. He was winding himself up. Around them, the world was beginning to notice. Mrs. Patricia and Gwen, 62, loading groceries 3 spaces over, stopped mid-motion. "Should I film this?" 17-year-old Deshaun Miller was sitting in his older brother's car. He'd seen this scene before. His phone was already recording. A white woman whispered to her husband, "Is that the guy from the 911 call?" Her husband, a lawyer named Tom Breslin, frowned. "That's not a robbery," he thought. "That's a man buying groceries." But he didn't say it out loud. Nobody did. Brady took another step forward. Less than 10 feet away now. Close enough to see the calm in Darius's eyes. Close enough to see that Darius wasn't afraid. And somehow, that made Brady more afraid. Brady's hand moved from resting on his gun to drawing it. The holster snap echoed across the parking lot. Click. Gasps rippled through the small crowd. Deshaun's camera zoomed in. "Officer, there's no need for that. I haven't threatened you. I'm cooperating. I'll decide what I need. You don't tell me how to do my job." The gun was out now, not aimed directly at Darius yet, but held low, ready. Darius's mind split into 2 tracks. Track 1, stay calm, breathe, don't give him a reason. Track 2, calculate escape routes, assess cover, prepare for the worst. It was the same mental split he'd experienced in combat. But this wasn't combat. This was a Sunday morning. In war, you knew who the enemy was. Here, you could be the enemy without ever knowing why. Brady's finger hovered near the trigger guard. His training said, "Don't draw unless you intend to use it." His fear said, "You already drew, now follow through or look weak." His pride said, "Everyone's watching. You can't back down now." Brady raised the gun higher, pointed at Darius's center mass. The parking lot fell silent. Just Brady's breathing, fast, shallow, panicked. And Darius's breathing, slow, controlled, measured. 2 men, 1 gun, 7 cameras recording. But Darius wasn't watching the gun anymore. His eyes had shifted. He'd seen something Brady couldn't see. Something small. Something innocent. Something moving fast on a bright red bicycle. A child, no older than 7, headphones in, riding directly into the space behind Brady, into the line of fire. And in that split second, Darius understood 3 things. 1. If Brady's finger slipped, that bullet wouldn't stop with him. 2. If he moved to warn the child, Brady would interpret it as aggression and shoot. 3. So he had less than 5 seconds to make a decision. His mother's face flashed in his mind, the cookies on the ground, and then his Marine training took over. Mission first. Innocent life is the mission, always. He didn't move, but his eyes tracked that bicycle. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and then Brady's boot landed on the oil patch he'd been too focused to notice. The world tilted. Time doesn't actually slow down in moments of crisis. What happens is your brain speeds up. Marines are trained to live in that space. Darius Cole was living in it now. The child on the bicycle, a little black boy with Spider-Man sneakers, was 40 feet away and closing fast. His name was Marcus Webb, Jr. 7 years old, had begged his mother that morning to let him ride his bike to the store. She'd said yes because Pine Ridge was supposed to be safe. Now her son was riding, oblivious, happy, directly into a moment that could shatter him forever. Darius calculated the angles like a battlefield equation. Officer Brady Kellerman, 10 feet away, weapon raised, right foot dangerously close to motor oil. The child, 40 feet and closing, putting him directly behind Brady in 4 seconds. The gun's muzzle, aimed at Darius's chest in an unstable grip. Ricochet potential, moderate. Bystanders, 12 visible, 3 with phones recording. 3 choices flashed through his mind. Option 1. Shout a warning. Outcome: Brady fires, Darius dies. Child possibly struck. Probability 8%. Option 2. Move toward the child. Outcome: Brady fires, Darius dies. Child possibly struck. Probability 12%. Option 3. Stand perfectly still. Outcome: unknown. Probability unknown. But it was the only option that didn't guarantee someone getting shot. Mrs. Patricia Nguyen saw it first. "Oh my God, there's a child." Her husband grabbed her arm. "Don't interfere." "There's a child," she said louder. Deshaun Miller saw it through his phone screen. This is bad, he thought. But he was 17, and black, and holding a phone. Let's see. So he kept filming. 30 feet. Little Marcus Webb Jr. was singing along to a song only he could hear. He didn't see the police car. He didn't see the man with the gun. He just saw the corner store. 20 feet. Brady's breathing was ragged. His hand trembled. Why won't he react? Every second that Darius remained calm, Brady became more convinced he was missing something. Do something. Everyone's watching. His finger moved closer to the trigger. 15 feet. Darius's heart was steady, but his mind was screaming. How do you see racism coming when it wears a badge? He thought about his mother, the cookies, the life he wouldn't get to live, and then he thought about the child. Not today, he thought. Not this kid. Not on my watch. 10 feet. Someone in the crowd shouted, "Officer, behind you!" Brady's head twitched. His weight shifted. His boot came down on the oil patch. 5 feet. Marcus Webb Jr. looked up. He saw the police car. He saw the man with the gun, and some instinct told him to stop pedaling. His little hands squeezed the brakes. 3 feet. Brady's boot slipped. Just an inch. But an inch was enough. His ankle rolled. His balance failed. And the gun pointed at Darius's heart, jerked upward. 2 feet. Darius saw everything at once. Brady falling backward, the gun arcing through the air, the child frozen on his bicycle, the crowd gasping. 1 foot. Brady hit the ground. A heavy thud of bone meeting asphalt. His gun flew from his hand, spinning, catching sunlight. It landed with a metallic clatter. Coming to rest 3 feet from Marcus Webb Jr.'s front tire, 0. The parking lot held its breath. 7 cameras captured the moment, and Darius Cole made the decision that would define him. He didn't run. He didn't celebrate. He simply bent down, picked up his grocery bags, placed them to the side, and used his boot to slide the gun away from the child, just like he'd been trained to disarm explosive devices. Calm, controlled, calculated, and that's when the siren started screaming. Backup was coming. The first backup unit arrived in 43 seconds. Officers Miguel Santos and Jennifer Park came in fast, adrenaline pumping. Officer down. Suspect still on scene. They didn't arrive looking for context. They arrived looking for a threat. When Officer Park saw Brady on the ground and Darius standing over him, her brain made the same calculation 1,000 cops had made before. Black man, white officer down. Gun on the ground. Get on the ground, now! Her weapon was drawn, aimed, ready. Down, now! Darius didn't hesitate. He dropped to his knees, then to his stomach, hands behind his head. He'd been here before, not literally, but emotionally. Every black man in America had been here, that. Face down, praying that compliance would equal survival. Just breathe. Let the truth sort itself out. But the truth was a luxury that came later. Right now, perception was reality. The crowd erupted. "He didn't do anything!" Mrs. Nguyen was shouting. "The cop slipped. I saw it." Tom Breslin stepped forward. "Officers, I'm an attorney. I witnessed the entire event. Your colleague slipped on an oil patch. Deshaun Miller was a still recording. He didn't touch him." But Officer Park wasn't listening. She was watching Brady, her partner, her friend. He was groaning, trying to sit up. "Officer Kellerman, what happened?" Brady's mouth opened, closed, opened again. He could tell the truth. He could admit he slipped. Or he could do what his pride was screaming at him to do. He chose wrong. He moved toward me. I felt threatened. The crowd's protest grew louder. "That's a lie!" But Officer Park chose the badge. "Cuff him," she told Santos. Darius felt the cold metal close around his wrists. He didn't resist. He just closed his eyes and prayed the cameras had caught everything, because black men's words were never enough. But video? Video was harder to deny, and the video was already spreading. Deshaun's live stream. Current viewers 1,147. By the time they loaded Darius into the patrol car, it would be 12,000. By sunset, 4.2 million. Because Deshaun wasn't the only one recording. Mrs. Nguyen had filmed from the moment Brady drew his weapon. Tom Breslin's dashcam had captured the sequence. Henderson's corner store had security cameras. The bank across the street had surveillance. A teenager on FaceTime had accidentally recorded it, and a traffic camera had captured everything in 4K. 7 cameras, 7 angles, 7 pieces of evidence. Little Marcus Webb Jr. stood frozen beside his bicycle. His mother arrived, pulling him into her arms. "Baby, are you okay?" Marcus didn't cry. He stared at the spot where the gun had landed. "Mama, that man saved me." "What?" "The man they arrested. He moved the gun away from me." His mother looked up, looked at Darius being pushed into the patrol car, looked at Brady being helped to his feet. And she understood. Her son had almost died. Not from crime, but from a lie. By the time the patrol car pulled away, the first uploads were hitting Twitter. Pine Ridge PD arrested a Marine for standing still, #Justice for Darius. The video showed everything. Brady slipping, the gun flying, Darius moving the weapon away, Brady lying. The first retweet came 6 seconds later. The first news outlet picked it up in 4 minutes. The first hashtag started trending in 11 minutes. And by the time Darius was being processed, his face was on every news network. Not as a suspect, as a symbol. Inside the holding cell, Darius sat on the metal bench and stared at his hands. Still steady. Marines didn't shake. He thought about his mother. She'd be awake now, wondering where he was. He thought about the little boy, hoped he was okay. And he thought about Brady. A man so afraid he'd nearly created the very tragedy he thought he was preventing. This is America, Darius thought. I fought for this country, and it still sees me as the enemy. Outside, a guard walked past scrolling on his phone. He stopped, looked at Darius. "You're that guy. You're viral." Darius closed his eyes. He didn't want to be viral. He just wanted to bring his mother her cookies. But the world had other plans. Within 6 hours, Darius's face was everywhere. The hashtags trended worldwide. Justice for Darius. Marine vs. Racism. Protect Black Veterans. The 7 videos had been stitched together. Every angle, every second. Slow-motion replays of Brady slipping. Close-ups of Darius moving the gun away. It had been viewed 6.8 million times. At 3:47 p.m., the cell door opened. "Cole, you made bail." Darius looked up, surprised. "I didn't call anyone. Someone called for you. You're free to go." Darius walked through processing and stepped into the waiting area. Standing there was attorney Thomas Breslin, the same man who'd watched from his car, who'd finally spoken up. "Mr. Cole, I'm Tom Breslin. I posted your bail. I'd like to represent you. Pro bono." Darius stared at him. "Why?" Tom's jaw tightened. "Because I watched injustice happen, and I didn't do enough. This is me doing more." Darius shook his hand. "I appreciate it, but I don't want a lawsuit. I just want to go home." "I understand, but they're not going to let you. The department issued a statement. They're calling you non-compliant and threatening." Darius's face didn't change. He'd expected this. "Then I guess we fight." Tom smiled. "Good, because the internet already started fighting for you." Outside, the media circus was waiting. Cameras, microphones, reporters shouting questions. Tom stepped forward. "Mr. Cole will not be taking questions." But Darius stopped him. "It's okay." He stepped toward the microphones. The crowd quieted. "I'm not angry. I'm tired. I'm tired of being seen as a threat when I'm just trying to live. I served this country for 23 years. I've earned the right to buy groceries without fearing for my life. I don't want revenge. I don't want fame. I just want to go home to my mother. That's all." He turned and walked to Tom's car. The video of his statement would hit 10 million views by midnight. Across town, Rick Delane was having the worst day of his life. His phone had been ringing non-stop, with rage. Someone had leaked the 911 call. His shaky voice, his lie about Darius being suspicious and armed. Rick sat at his desk. His Facebook, deleted but archived. His family's store, being boycotted. And the worst part? He knew he deserved it. He'd been taught to fear people who looked like Darius, taught that suspicion was safety. Now he was learning his fear had consequences. His lawyer had called. "Don't talk to anyone." The DA was reviewing the case. Filing a false police report was a crime. Rick put his head in his hands. What have I done? At 6:23 p.m., Darius walked through his front door. The house smelled like lavender. His mother was in her chair by the window, wrapped in the quilt he'd brought her from Afghanistan. She looked up, didn't ask where he'd been. "You okay, baby?" Darius knelt beside her chair and took her hand. "I'm okay, Mama." "I saw the news." She cupped his face. "You're a good man, Darius." He kissed her palm. "Did you get my cookies?" He smiled. "They're in evidence. I'll get you new ones tomorrow." She laughed softly. "Always worried about your mama. Always." Outside, the news vans were setting up. Online, the hashtags climbed. Some believed Brady. Some believed Darius. But the 7 camera angles didn't care what people believed. They only cared about what was true. At 8:14 p.m., the Pine Ridge Police Department issued a statement. Officer Brady Kellerman has been placed on administrative leave pending a hearing scheduled for Friday, November 21st. The internet translated it. They're only investigating because we forced them to. Thursday night, 11:47 p.m. The leak hit Twitter. An anonymous source had uploaded Brady Kellerman's personnel file, 17 excessive force complaints, 9 involving black citizens, all buried. One described Brady choking a teenager. Another detailed him drawing his weapon on an unarmed woman. A third involved him using a racial slur. Every single one investigated internally. Every single one dismissed. The internet exploded. By midnight, Fire Brady Kellerman was trending. By sunrise, Friday, Pine Ridge looked like a city preparing for war. Friday, November 21st. 9:00 a.m. Pine Ridge City Hall. Disciplinary hearing. The room was designed for 75 people. 200 showed up. They lined the walls, sat in the aisles, spilled into the hallway. And in the front row, in his Marine dress uniform, sat Master Sergeant Darius Cole. Ribbons across his chest told stories most people would never understand. Purple Heart, Bronze Star, Combat Action Ribbon. Today, those ribbons were his armor. The hearing began with the evidence. The panel watched the videos in silence, all 7 angles, full speed, then slow motion, Brady slipping, the gun spinning, Darius moving the weapon away from Marcus Webb Jr., the backup arriving, Brady lying. When the final video ended, the panel turned to Brady. "Officer Kellerman, you stated Mr. Cole advanced on you. The video contradicts that. Can you explain?" Brady waved off his lawyer. His face was red, his hands trembled. "I was mistaken." "Mistaken?" "I thought. In the moment, I believed I was in danger. From a man holding grocery bags?" Silence. "Were you aware Master Sergeant Cole is a decorated combat veteran?" Yes, he told me, but I didn't." "You didn't believe him?" The panel pulled up Brady's personnel file. 17 complaints in 12 years, 9 involving black citizens. Can you explain the pattern?" Brady's lawyer stood. "Objection. Overruled. The pattern speaks to credibility. Answer the question." Brady's jaw worked soundlessly. He had no answer, because the truth was he'd been taught to see threats where there were none. So he said nothing. The panel turned to Darius. "Master Sergeant Cole, would you like to address this panel?" Darius stood slowly. "I served this country for 23 years. I've been shot at in Afghanistan, Somalia, and Iraq. I've carried wounded brothers through minefields. But I have never felt as powerless as I did in that parking lot, because no matter what I did, I knew it could be used against me. If I moved, I was threatening. If I spoke, I was aggressive. If I stood still, I was suspicious." The room felt it. The exhaustion of living in a body that's treated as a weapon. "I don't hate Officer Kellerman, but I pity him. He's been taught to fear people who look like me, and that fear almost killed a child. I saw that boy on the bicycle. I saw him heading into the line of fire. And I had 3 choices: move and get shot, shout and get shot, or stand still and pray. I chose prayer, and the universe answered." He turned back to the panel. "I didn't want to be a symbol. I just wanted to buy cookies for my mother. But if my story can change one thing, if it can make one officer pause before assuming the worst, then maybe it was worth it." He sat down. The room was silent. Then someone started clapping. Then another. Then the entire gallery rose in applause. The panel deliberated for 22 minutes. Verdict: Officer Brady Kellerman. Suspended without pay, referred for criminal investigation. Rick Delane. Charged with filing a false police report, $10,000 fine, Pine Ridge Police Department. Mandated training, body cameras, independent oversight. The courtroom erupted in cheers. Brady left through a side door, head down, and Darius slipped out the back before the media could corner him. Friday, 2:34 p.m. Darius pulled up to a small house on Maple Street. The door opened before he could knock. Marcus Webb Jr. stood there in Spider-Man pajamas. Behind him, his mother appeared, tears streaming. "Mr. Cole!" Darius knelt down to Marcus's level. "Hey, little man, you doing okay?" Marcus nodded. "I brought you something." He pulled out a Marine Challenge coin. "This is for being brave, for staying calm when things got scary." Marcus took the coin with trembling hands. "You saved me," the boy whispered. "Nah." Darius smiled. "We saved each other." Friday, 6:18 p.m. Darius walked into his mother's room with a fresh pack of lemon cookies. She looked up, smiled, and patted the seat beside her. He sat. She took his hand. "It's over, baby?" "It's over, Mama." "Good." She opened the cookies. "Now tell me about your day." And for the first time in a week, Darius laughed. Outside, the world was still arguing, still trending hashtags. still demanding change. But inside that small room, there was only peace. Mother and son, cookies and quiet. The battle he never wanted was over, and the life he'd fought for, the simple, quiet, beautiful life, was his again. 3 months later, Darius testified before Congress on police reform. He declined 14 book deals and 1 movie offer. Brady resigned and entered counseling. Rick sold his store and left Pine Ridge. Marcus Webb Jr. still carries that challenge coin everywhere. And every Sunday morning, Darius Cole buys lemon cookies. Because some battles are worth fighting, and some moments are worth protecting. Thanks for watching. Let us know your reaction in the comments below, and tell us what city or country you're watching from. If you believe justice was served, pass this story on to someone who needs to see it. And subscribe to Golden Stories for more stories of karma and justice served fast.